Welcome to Networking Arizona with host Carol Blonder. You'll hear interviews with businesses located throughout the valley. Networking, it makes a difference.
If I traded it all.
So welcome to the show, everyone. It's beautiful out, and it's a great day for networking. And as you all know, I made it possible for you to talk about yourselves on the radio. And that's what we're doing right here on the radio with you. And if you want to get yourself heard on my show, just give us a call here at 602-277-5369. We'll get you hooked up with me so you can get yourself heard on my show. I'm going to go right ahead with my first guest. And I know he's been on, and it's okay that he's been on because we still get callers every single time he's on. We have Ted Watkins. He is an enrolled agent and been doing it since 1978. I want to say that right away right now. Hey, Ted, welcome back to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, a little tiny bit. I think they know, but that's okay. There's still a lot of new people that come in all the time that are listening. There's a lot of people that haven't called you in a long, they listen. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about yourself and what you do and why you're here right now so much.
Okay, great. It's always fun to do the show with you, Carol, so I'm glad to be back. My name's Ted Watkins, and a lot of you may have heard me before, but if you haven't, I'm what's called an enrolled agent before IRS. And what that is we're licensed by the federal government, so I can help you if you live in all 50 states and Guam and all those places that America still owns. So, but I do taxes, obviously, but I also like to help people that have tax issues. So I've helped a lot of people since I've been on the show, and I've been on almost
thousands.
Almost. I've been on almost 7 years now. So I've talked with a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of people out too, because the IRS is the worst collection agency in the world. They can take your chips and make your life miserable. So I do enjoy helping people get their financial lives back on tracks, because they can really make it tough on you out there.
Well, I love to say this about you. You've got the sharpest pencil I know anyone to have, as well as he's very meticulous. I mean, extremely meticulous. In everything that you do, you will make sure that these people are getting all of those deductions. You're going to make sure that they are going to get back the money that they are owed, all of it that they should get, as well as for anybody that are in trouble. Maybe you haven't done your taxes, and we know you're out there. What's the longest one you said?
1982.
1982 that somebody hadn't been, and he called from my show. I'm happy to have helped you out there.
That's right. He came in with literally, I kid you not, a stack of unopened certified mail letters from the IRS about a foot tall.
Wow, that's just amazing. And, we've talked a little bit about this, the last few times that you've been on. Even today, we got somebody that called the station that heard you on the show and said, I got to get hooked up with that Ted Watkins.
Right.
Give us a call. So, tell everybody a little tiny bit why you've heard, some people that have, heard you for a long time and don't call. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I've had actually in the last few weeks, I've had several people call. In fact, one gentleman had listened to me for 4 years before he decided to call.
That's why. It doesn't happen right away all the time, folks.
Yeah, but the bad thing about that, though, is that after a while, the IRS is pretty slow, but eventually they're going to catch up to you. So you want to be proactive, and believe me, I'm an easy guy to work with. I'm on your side. Even though I'm an enrolled agent, I'm not an employee of the federal government. I represent you, the taxpayer, where I'm licensed by the government, but my job is to, if I'm preparing tax returns for you, is to get the most legal deductions you're entitled to. But if I'm representing you, if you have tax issues, then my job is to negotiate the very best settlement I can with the IRS. And I also do work with the Arizona Department of Revenue, and I'm from California, so I still do a lot of work with the Franchise Tax Board. But the best thing you can do is, if you haven't filed for a while, is to be proactive and come forward. Because if you ignore them, that's the worst thing you can do. They don't like to be blown off.
Well, another thing is that you want someone like Ted, and there's nothing like having an enrolled agent do your taxes, whether you're in trouble or not. And you do not charge more. And that's another thing I want you to get out before I give all your giveaways out.
All right, okay. I have been an enrolled agent since 1978, but I don't charge. My fees, you'll find, are quite reasonable. They're usually about the same or less than H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or Liberty Tax, and definitely a lot less than most CPAs. But I still will give you the very best job I can do. I also review all the tax returns I prepare 3 times before they go out the door. So we make very few errors. It's not because we walk on water, but it's just because that I have procedures where I make sure that the returns, like I said, they don't go out the door until I personally have reviewed them 3 times.
Now, let me tell you what else he does. First of all, he goes back 3 years for you for free. Okay, he does free consultations, and he also has a wonderful tax organizer. And yes, our files are full. We already know they're all full. They can hardly get their hands in them, and we need to start organizing now. And that's why he's been on a lot, because he wants to help the people that haven't done them. There's a lot of people out there that he can help you if you have done your taxes and get organized. The tax organizer is 15 pages long, and you don't have to be intimidated by it at all. Go ahead.
No, my tax and organizer is on my website, which is tedwatkinsea.com. On the home page, there's a little icon that says Tax Center. You just click on that, and it'll take you down. It says Free Tax Organizer, I believe. So anyway, you can download it. It's in PDF format. I'm also happy to mail it to you if you're not an internet person. But what it does is it covers, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all. So if you own rental property, if you've sold stocks and bonds, if you have your own small business, it covers all those different areas. But if those don't apply to you, just ignore it. But what it also does, if you're a person that works for a company, it covers all the legal deductions that you're entitled to take. So there's a lot of things that you may not be even know that you're entitled to deduct. And the good news is that if you use TurboTax, you may miss a lot of deductions, because TurboTax is kind of it asks questions of you, but my organizer lists all the deductions you're entitled to take.
Well, I'll tell you something. Ted loves to give stuff away, and if you talk anymore, Ted, I'm not going to be able to get it all out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give everybody the tax organizer, because I believe that everybody should have it by their decks, just so that they could see all of the things that they can deduct. And there's a lot of things on there that you may or may not realize that you can do. He also said that one of the number one questions that he gets asked about is what records you should keep and how long. So we're going to give out that record retention guide to everyone. That's 4 pages long, and it's going to give you all the ins and outs of what to do with that. That's free. As well as, like I said, he does free consultations. He's going to enter everybody to win a 2015 if you haven't done your taxes, or 2016 if you have, business or personal tax return. That's a $450 value right there, free to you as well as a Walmart card or a Starbucks card. He gives away the world because he wants to help everybody. I love that about him. And our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone who's calling in is getting entered in to win all of that. So give us a call and get yourself organized, get our taxes done, get some peace of mind. 602-277-5369. I also want to tell you that Ted has 2 Valley locations. One is in North Scottsdale, the other one is in North Phoenix. You can check him out on his website. It is tedwatkinsea.com, and the phone number to call him direct is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. I say call in right now. Keep on calling, guys. I'm going to let you call throughout the rest of the show for all of this and get entered in to win. And 602-277-5369. So we have about a minute. So what do you want to say before we go to a break?
Okay. Well, the extension deadline expired on October 17th, which was a week ago Monday. But if you have a refund coming for your 2015 tax return, you actually have 3 years from April 15th of this year to file and get it. But if you owe taxes, you should get your returns done, because the later you wait, the more the penalties mount up. And so it's a good time for us to work on tax returns from now through the end of the year, because it's a little bit slower time of the year for us. And of course, in January, we'll start gearing up again for the 2016 filing season.
If you've been listening for a long time and haven't called Ted, you got to call in now. And if you're just listening, let him help you. He's fantastic. Our number here, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.
If I traded it all,
We are talking with Ted Watkins. Yes, he's been on the show many times, and he's also helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there. But he especially been on the show for over almost 7 years, I should say. And Ted loves to help people. That's what he's all about, and educate you. He's been coming on this show a long time because he has helped a lot of people out there. We still get calls every single day, for Ted. And that's why I know you're out there listening. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to tell everybody all the things that he's going to give away, which is a business or personal 2015 or 16 tax return, and that is a $450 value free to you right there. Also, you're going to get his tax organizer, which again, everybody should have it. I don't care what anybody says, everybody should have that. The record retention guide, that's 4 pages long to know what you should keep, how long you should keep it, all of that. He does free consultations with everyone. I always lose my voice when I'm on my show. I don't know why, but anyway. And he's also going to give you a free Walmart card or a Starbucks card. He will go back for you for the last 3 years for free. So he really wants to help you. He can also help anyone in the United States of America. So give us a call here, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Get entered in to win all of this cool stuff from Ted, and check him out on his website. It is tedwatkinsea.com. Again, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Okay, so before we go anywhere, I want to talk another thing with you, because you do something that I think is awesome when you are doing the power of attorney, and people need to hear what it costs, because it's amazing what you do. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, if you have tax issues, the only upfront money that I require from you is $175 for a power of attorney fee. And what I do there is I file your power of attorney with the IRS, and they'll tell me what tax returns that you're required to file, and they'll also give me what they call a transcript by year of how much you owe the IRS. So I have a motto that when working with the IRS, it's you have to know what your problem is before you can solve your problem. So that's what the power of attorney does. It tells me what tax returns you need to file, and usually the IRS only requires the last 6 tax years to be filed. And then if you do owe taxes for prior years, they fax me all this information, and they're actually pretty amazingly efficient. I usually get this information about a day after I talk to them on the telephone. They fax it directly to my office. So usually in about a day, or at most 2, I can tell you exactly what your situation is, how many tax returns you need to file, and what the best course of action is to solve your problem. But again, you're only required to pay the $175. If you choose not to hire me, I hope you do, and I don't recommend that you talk to the IRS on your own. But if you choose not to hire me, you have no further obligation to me monetarily. Just the $175, and you can handle it yourself. You can go somewhere else.
Now, he has 2 Valley locations. One is in North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. His phone number direct is 602-363-1952 or 480-707-7670. Check him out. It's tedwatkinsea.com. I'm not going to say all of the different things that you're going to get right now, but you can call in and get entered in to win all of those. 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Give me enough time so I can say it before we go, okay? So I understand that you had a story that you wanted to talk about. Let's do that now, too.
Okay. Well, I had talked about this in a couple programs ago, I believe. But anyway, I had a guy, he'd listened to me for quite a long time, and he finally decided to give me a call. So he came in, and we found out that he had to file his tax returns from 2007 through 2015. So that's 9 years. So, but the good news about him calling in is that he was only about 30 days away from the IRS issuing levies against his bank account, and he's a real estate agent, so they could have levied his commission checks as well. And so I was able to call the IRS and get what they call a collection hold. What that means is the IRS will stop any levies from going out against his bank account or accounts and his commission checks. So now we'll be able to prepare. He's got a lot of tax returns to do, but we can proceed, and he won't have to worry about waking up one day and having no money in his bank account or getting a commission check with. They don't let you have very many exemptions. So say on a $3,000 commission check, he'd be lucky to get $400 or $500 out of it, and they would take the rest.
Well, they're brutal. We talked about that.
That's right. They're the most powerful collection agency in the world because they can take your money and they can take your wages or salary, and they don't have to have any permission because it's written right in the Internal Revenue Code, so they don't have to go to a judge or anything like that. You can have somebody sitting at someplace in New York or anywhere across the country, they flip a button and your money's gone.
Wow. So you don't want that to happen, and you want some peace of mind. Ted's been doing this since 1978, and he does not charge a lot of money just because he's an enrolled agent. So if you have had your taxes already prepared and you're already done with that, but you'd like to have somebody like this do it, he does have a sharp pencil. He's great at what he does. So you can call him direct. The number is 602-363-1952, or you can call 480-707-7670. He does do a tremendous amount of giveaways, and he loves to do this because he wants to help you. He wants to educate you. He wants you to have this information. Our lines are open here, and I'll let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for it. We have you getting the tax organizer, which is 15 pages long, and you don't have to be intimidated by it. You should have it, look through it, and find out what works for you and what's for your particular job that you do, and then you'll have that for life. And then, of course, the record retention guide, that's 4 pages long, so you know what to keep, how long to keep it, and all that good stuff. He's going to go back for you for the last 3 years. You're going to get entered in to win a business or personal tax return for 2015 if you haven't done it, and 2016 if you have, and that is a $450 value free to you right there, as well as the Walmart card or a Starbucks card. He also does free consultations. It's nothing that he doesn't give away. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And anyone listening across the United States, he can help you as well. Go ahead, Ted. What are some of your final words for today?
Okay. One thing that I wanted to talk about is the Arizona Amnesty Program ends next Monday, the 31st. So I think that's Halloween, isn't it? But if you owe taxes or haven't filed for the 2013 or prior years, unfortunately it doesn't cover 2014 and 15 for some reason. But anyway, for those older years, they'll waive all penalties, they'll waive all interest, and they'll also not pursue you on any criminal charges. So it's a pretty good program. They only have them about every 5-8 years. So, but again, it ends next Monday, so you have to get the ball rolling by next Monday or the program ends.
Well, we have our lines open here. We do want everyone to get all of this stuff from Ted and all the guests that are coming on today. But the tax organizer is phenomenal. The record retention guide, you said that's the number one thing that people ask about.
That's the most asked question I get, yes.
Right.
How long should I keep all this stuff?
How long and what for? And then
what?
again, you do also go back 3 years and you don't charge them for that, correct?
That's right. Also, I'll look at 2013, 14, and 15 for you. No cost to you. And then if it looks like the returns were done properly, I'll say that. If it looks like we might be able to save you some significant tax dollars, then I'd suggest that you file an amended tax return. Now, you can only go, the law only allows you to go back 3 years. That's why it's not a rule I came up with. So they can chase you for 10 years, but you only get your refund for 3 years.
Right. Well, those are the penalties.
That's the law. It ain't fair, but that's the way it is.
Now, again, he also is going to enter everyone in to win a 2015 or 16 personal or business tax return. That's $450 right there as well, as you're going to get the free Walmart card or Starbucks card. And call us here, 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You know, Ted, I think that it's weird when we sit there and think about all that we talk about this and how there's so many people out there for years that don't call you, but there's got to be a good reason for it. And I think they're just either they're afraid that they're going to get it. I think the last time you were on, you were saying it too, that people that they think that they're going to get in trouble because you actually call the IRS for them.
That's right, and that's absolutely not true. But there are lots and lots of people that think because I contact the IRS, they're going to be up on the radar screen. But eventually, they're going to be able to contact you, and it's way better if you be proactive through me. And then, like I said, I can usually get them to back off anyway for long enough for you to get back on track and file all your tax returns. And then I can negotiate a payment agreement with them or some other option that you can live with.
Well, he's been doing this since 1978. We're going to keep our lines open for everybody to do this for throughout the rest of the show. He has 2 locations. One is North Scottsdale. The other one is in North Phoenix. Check him out on his website. It's TedWatkinsEA.com. Call in for all his free stuff and everybody else that's giving away things today. 602-277-5369 and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.